All right, welcome. Today we're going to dive into a pretty amazing secret, one that connects the deepest parts of the ancient ocean to, believe it or not, the food that's on your plate. It's really the story of a single, hidden element that, well, without it, none of us would even be here.
So let me just start by asking you something. What in the world do your DNA, I mean the actual blueprint that makes you, and your dinner have in common? It sounds like a riddle, right? But the answer isn't some complex idea. It's our real physical thing, a single element.
And that element is phosphorus. Here's the crazy part. Almost all of the phosphorus we use to grow our food comes from these incredible rock formations that got their start at the bottom of the ocean millions of years ago. So how on earth does it get from the seabed to a farm field? That's the incredible journey we're going to follow.
Okay, so first things first. To really get why this journey is so important, you have to understand just how vital phosphorus is. It's not just, helpful. For life on Earth, it is completely 100% non-negotiable.
What's so wild is how phosphorus is literally woven into the fabric of our bodies. It's the backbone that holds our DNA together. It builds the very membranes that contain all of our cells. It's what makes our bones and teeth hard and strong. And maybe most important of all, it's the star player in a molecule called ATP. Think of it like a tiny, rechargeable battery that powers every single thing your cells do. You take away phosphorus, and life it just stops.
So right away we have a huge paradox, and this is what really kicks off our whole story. Phosphorus is absolutely essential for life, but it's incredibly rare to find it in any concentrated form in the Earth's crust. It's a massive supply and demand problem that nature itself had to solve billions of years before we ever came along.
And to find nature's solution to this scarcity problem, we've got to leave dry land behind. The answer isn't in the mountains or the plains. It's out in the vastness of the world's oceans. That's where the magic happens.
You see, over millions of years, rain and weather break down rocks on land, and that process washes tiny, tiny bits of phosphorus into rivers, which then carry it all out to sea. So yeah, the ocean is basically the planet's biggest storage tank for phosphorus. The only problem, it's spread out in such minuscule amounts. We're talking parts per billion. It's so diluted it's practically useless.
So this is the big question, right? If all this essential phosphorus is just floating around uselessly in the water, how does nature manage to gather it all up and put it in one place? The answer is, well, it's beautiful, and it uses life itself to do the job.
Scientists have a great name for this process. They call it the biological pump. And it's actually pretty simple. All the tiny organisms in the ocean, like plankton, absorb this dissolved phosphate right out of the water. They use it to build their bodies, their shells, their DNA. Then, eventually, they die. And when they do, they sink, carrying all that precious phosphorus with them down to the dark, cold seafloor. It's like life itself is a giant conveyor belt, pulling phosphorus from the surface and dropping it onto the bottom.
But here's where it gets really cool. This biological pump doesn't just chug along at the same speed everywhere. Oh, no. There are a few very special places in the ocean, these little hotspots, where the whole process goes into absolute overdrive. These hotspots are called upwelling zones. It's basically an area where deep, cold ocean water gets pushed up towards the sunlit surface. And that deep water is just loaded with nutrients, especially phosphate. You can literally think of it as the ocean fertilizing itself, bringing all the good stuff up from the bottom to the top. And that natural fertilizer, it sets off an incredible chain reaction. More nutrients mean an explosion of life. You get these massive blooms of plankton. More life, of course, means more death. And that means a much, much faster, just a constant rain of phosphorus-rich material sinking to the seafloor right below. And we can actually see these natural phosphate factories running today. The waters off the coast of Peru, for example, and off the coast of Namibia are classic examples. These places are some of the most productive fisheries on the entire planet, and it's all because of that constant supply of deep-sea nutrients. They're like living laboratories showing us exactly how this all works. Okay, so now we've got this thick, gooey layer of phosphorus-rich organic stuff piling up on the seafloor. But that's a long, long way from being a solid rock that we can actually mine. The next chapter in this story is all about geology and an almost unimaginable amount of patience. I mean, just look at this timeline. It really puts things into perspective. What starts as a bunch of dead plankton gets buried deeper and deeper under new layers of sediment. After maybe 1 million years or so, under all that pressure, the chemistry starts to change. And after 10, maybe 20 million years, that organic ooze finally gets squeezed and cooked into solid rock.
During this epic transformation, all that phosphorus gets reorganized. It recrystallizes into a really stable group of minerals called apatite. That chemical formula there basically shows how the phosphate gets locked into the super durable solid structure. Apatite is the key ingredient. It's the chemical signature that geologists are hunting for.
And when you find a rock that is just jam-packed with these apatite minerals, well, that's it. That's the jackpot. It's called phosphorite. This is the finished product of that millions of years long process. This is the rock that we mine for fertilizer. It is literally the compressed and fossilized essence of an ancient ocean ecosystem. So now we've got all the pieces of the puzzle. We've gone from a single atom of phosphorus floating in the ocean all the way to a solid piece of rock. And this is where our ancient story takes a dramatic turn and lands right on your dinner plate.
Here it is. This is the big idea. The source material for this explainer puts it in a way that's just perfect. These phosphate deposits aren't just random rocks. They are fossilized nutrient cycles.
So what does that really mean? It means that every chunk of phosphate rock is a physical record, a snapshot of a specific time and place where life was booming, where it died, and where the ocean carefully gathered it all together. It's ancient biology, chemistry, and geology all wrapped up into one. So why should you care about any of this ancient history? Because we, humanity, we are the ones who complete the cycle. We dig up that phosphorite rock, we grind it down, we process it, and we turn it into the phosphate fertilizer that is the absolute foundation of all modern agriculture. Without it, there is no way we could grow enough food to feed the billions of people on this planet. And that's really the bottom line. This is the ultimate takeaway. Our entire food system is directly powered by the life that was thriving in the oceans hundreds of millions of years ago. We are, in a very real sense, running on fossilized nutrients.
And that, of course, leaves us with one last very big thought. Our food system is built on a resource that took tens of millions of years to create, and it's not renewable. Just like oil is a fossil fuel, this is a fossil nutrient. And that brings up a profoundly important question for our future. What on earth are we going to do when it starts to run out?